my studio. As you can see, a lot has changed since I first showed y'all this space. It was empty, a lot more reverberant before. I'm sure you can hear the difference now that I've got the sound treatment up and whatnot. And now that things are nearly complete, figured I'd show y'all around a little bit. I told y'all we was gonna start buying some equipment. I gotta apologize. I went ahead and bought everything and I didn't take y'all along with me on the journey, but I guess without further ado, let me show y'all around a little bit. So I had this gaming computer already. I built this, I want to say towards the end of 2020, maybe beginning of 2021. And I really just built it because I thought I was going to get into gaming. As you can see, I stuck the PS5 controller in there. I originally wanted to get a PS5 and I couldn't get one. So I kind of got frustrated and mad and was like, I'm gonna just build me something. And so I built this PC, and I bought that PS5 controller because it's, I could use it with certain games and really just catch some wreck. But after having a PC for literally about a month, I realized I'm not really into gaming like I used to be. And since I was kind of just at that time getting started building the studio, I repurposed it to run the studio. It's super overpowered, and so it really does a great job. I have the Alesis VI49 keyboard controller. It does me well. I'm not gonna front y'all, the keys are a little bit spongy and the pads are a little bit loose, but it does the job. And I don't really see a need to upgrade from there because it does what I needed to do. This right here though is actually my favorite keyboard controller. This is the Keith McMillan K-Board, and these pads are airtight, and I like that they're in the same configuration as piano keys. That really I could really rock out with that. I have the Icon Platform Nano Air, which is a wireless DAW controller. However, I keep the wire plugged in at all times. I really just use it as my desk, and so in hindsight, I probably should have, saved a few bucks and got the non-wireless version, but it's cool. I have the iPad Pro set to the Studio One remote, but I also have beat production programs on there that I use, and when I do that, I go out digital from the iPad through the DAC into my main audio interface and into Studio One. I use an FX Audio DAC to transfer audio now, which brings me to the heart of my studio, the Arturia Audio Fuse Studio. For just about $1,000, I really can't think of a better audio interface. The converters are top-notch, state-of-the-art. The mic preamps are pristine and colorless, which enables me to do whatever I need to do with the signal, and it has absolutely every feature that I could ever want. I got talkback, mono, mute, dim, 2 headphone outputs with individual controls, mono on the headphones, different Q sends, speaker switching, 4 preamps with listen function, individual gain controls, phantom power, individual for each channel, instrument input, pad, phase invert. I mean, it even has a USB hub on the back. I couldn't ask for more. And I actually thought about upgrading my audio interface beyond this, and I looked at $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 audio interfaces and didn't see any notable improvement. And so I'm sticking with this as the heart of my studio. My monitors are the Kali Audio IN5s, which for the money, I mean, again, I looked at much more expensive studio monitors, mastering speakers, and for the size of my room and for what I was trying to do, I couldn't find a better speaker to get the job done. My secondary reference is a Bose soundbar. It's the big one. I had it already. I wasn't really using it, and I figured what better way to get a good idea how a mix would sound on a typical playback system, you know what I'm saying, or on like an end user type playback system than a soundbar. And this one happens to be a really kind of a high-end detail one, and so not only can I get the general feel of what something will sound like on like a home audio playback system, but I can still kind of hear the details and the nuances in the mix when I'm flipping back and forth, which is really, really handy. And these are the headphones I use for mixing and some mastering work. The AKG K702, an open bag headphone, which is really what you're gonna need for any kind of reference monitoring. And this is what I use really mostly so I can hear reverb tails accurately, judge the super low lows, which now that I got the gobos up, I won't need the headphones for that so much anymore. But those are some really, really, really great headphones for mixing. I even do some mastering work on those. They give you the whole picture, you know what I'm saying? They really let you know what's going on. I have a 32-inch curved monitor. This was another thing that I bought for the gaming rig, and once I realized I wasn't going to be gaming for real, I just repurposed it for the studio, and I've been really, really happy with it. Now here's a really cool thing. So I was using the gaming keyboard, but I needed to clear some space on my desk, because what I'm actually going to do is get the Icon Platform X Plus extenders, 3 of them, to go all the way across the desk so I can have motorized faders. So to clear that space, I got rid of the traditional mouse and keyboard, and I bought this joint right here by a company called RII. As you can see me accidentally pushing buttons here. It's got a trackpad, button, scroll wheel, everything I could use, and so I just use this to do all my editing and everything, and it really works well. Now to the most important part of the studio. Let me step back and show y'all the sound treatment. And so that is a 3-inch thick Rockwool cloud. I built that myself. That was the first piece of treatment that I put in here, and it really made the world of difference. I built 2 more identical ones and hung them on each wall. As you can see, as my camera loses focus, I get too close to the light. On the back wall, I have some diffusion, which, believe it or not, actually helps quite a lot. And I just built these 2 gobos, so these I can move around the studio as needed. Sometimes I'll move them into the vocal booth. There's 3 inches of Rockwool in there, and then just some wood kind of placed in a way that it will kind of scatter sound in different directions, and I have one on each side. And to tell you the truth, folks, I just put these 2 in here, and the bass response from these little 5-inch speakers has improved drastically just by setting those 2 things there. And so I can only imagine that what was happening before is the bass was kind of hitting that corner and bouncing back and causing some phase cancellation. And so once I threw the absorption and diffusion in between there, now when I sit in my sweet spot right here, the bass just booms. And so when my 808 work is going to be magnanimous. So y'all, this is actually where the magic happens. Microphone tucked off in this monstrosity that I'll show y'all here in a sec. I usually clip an iPad right here. I have 2 iPads. I have one old school iPad Air that fits right here in this little clip thing, and that allows me through Wi-Fi to pause, stop, start, record. So if I'm just recording myself and instead of having to hit record in the control room and then book it to the mic, I come right in here, had an iPad set up with Studio One remote, boop, to kick my bars. Just that easy. Let me show y'all what's going on over here. So this is the microphone I use. It's a Rode NT1A, which in my opinion is one of the best mics under $1,000 that you can buy, particularly for rap vocals. And it's a very versatile mic. I use 2 pop filters because honestly, sibilance is a bitch. And I like to get up real close up on my mic and get a nice proximity effect. You know what I'm saying? Some bass in my voice, and I don't want my S's to be ripping y'all ears off. And so I use 2 pop filters, and I get up right up on it, and I do my thing. Treatment in the room is kind of light. Nothing on that wall. That's kind of another reason I built those gobos in the other room. Don't mind the clutter and mess. I kind of come in here and I do my building work sometimes. Little corner trap, AC for when it's hot, and then a little on that wall, but then behind the mic. See, that's where y'all know the reflections come from behind the mic because it's cardioid pattern. So I put the high frequency foam on the wall behind me, because obviously I don't really need much bass absorption in here because it's just for vocals. And so I put the foam on there, and it's really all it's good for is high frequency, and then some on the ceiling to catch those reflections, and then one right there on the floor where I need to sweep to catch that, because that's where my vocals are. And a little stand here. I use the Sennheiser HD201 headphones for tracking. They do the trick. Very little bleed, if any. And that's where I get down at. So yeah, that's my studio. A little bit of work yet to do, not a whole lot. I'm really just gonna add the fader banks and call it a day. But I'll keep y'all posted. Like, share, subscribe. Get up with your boy. 1.